everybody. I've not been spending a lot of time up here in my painting studio. I've been spending a lot of time at home, and it's summer and I'm doing all sorts of other things and I'm not spending as much time painting and pasteling. So I'm going to the dog park, I'm playing golf, I'm sitting on the porch, I'm doing all sorts of other things. And so you probably are too, I hope. But, I never have the same kind of energy all year long. That's just the way it goes. Summer has a lot different energy feel, and it needs to, because even though I may not be producing as much art, all of the experiences that I'm involved in play a part in art also. So this has been my last painting, and actually I took a painting that I did several months ago and I painted over it. Covered it up with some gesso, painted over it, and this is nowhere near where I want it to be. I'm really not happy with it. Of course, I have a lot of black here, and I thought, well, that'll be a great thing. I'm going to use a lot of black in this. But now I feel like I need to get rid of some of the black. It's too overwhelming, so that's why I have it taped off. I'm just going to play around in this area with something. I'm going to lighten some of this up. I'm going to put some bigger brush strokes up here. So I've just been pondering this. How do I want to change this? What is wrong with it? What do I like about it? What do I need to change? I've been flipping it in different directions. One direction, it makes it look a little bit more like a landscape. This direction is more kind of, this side over here I don't mind with all of these little brush strokes. This here kind of bothers me a little bit. This definitely bothers me because it got too heavy. So I'm going to change this, take the tape off, and then see what happens. This is something that I picked up from Steve Imone, is to tape an area off, change that area, instead of feeling like you have to change everything, and then take it off and look at it and say, well, now, what difference did that make? So that's what I'm going to do on this. And so this is also, summer is a time where I'm going to do a lot of experimenting, and I'm also going to do a lot of drawing for future purposes. So I have a sketchbook at home that I've started drawing a lot of flowers and leaves, and I need to do a whole lot more. So I'm going to put it in the car along with some, a graphite pencil, and I'm going to go places, and I'm just going to walk around and I'm going to draw, because I need more drawings. I need some different drawings. I use these over and over and over again. And so right now, I kind of know what I'm doing with my pastels and what I want to do with my pastels. But with my acrylic painting, I'm still, I always struggle with it a little bit. It's hard to go from one medium to the other. And sometimes I will have things like this painting over here. It's 24 by 24, half the size of this. That came about really fast, where I just wasn't even thinking about it and just did it, and it turned out just the way I want it to. But when you go bigger, 48 by 48, then it's a whole nother situation. So I've got a 40 by 40, I have a 36 by 48. Those, are good. This one, I'm not sure, but it needs a lot of changes. So I'm going to change one thing and then see what happens and what impact or effect it has on the rest of it. So that is what I'm doing. The other thing that I'm working on, and I've done this before in the past, and it's been several years ago with painting, but I'm going to do it again, is I'm going to start with a acrylic underpainting like I do my pastels on canvas. Then I am going to put oil on top of it. So I did this several years ago. I did a lot of drawing and mark making with oil sticks, and I'm going to go back to that and visit that again because I think that might give me more of what I'm looking for out of painting on canvas. And the other thing right now that I am doing or not doing is I have taken a break from applying to any galleries. I'm not sure when I will apply to a gallery again. I'm a little frustrated with that, to tell you the truth. But I've decided that until I have things the way I want them with the acrylic paintings, I'm just taking a break on it, which actually is kind of a relief instead of applying to a gallery, waiting to hear back, you know, that whole situation. So with my pastels, I am submitting some of those to some Pastel Society exhibits, and we'll see if I get in. I hope I do, but you never know. I might not. So, and I'm going to turn this off. I just saw a bug in my studio that I got to go look for. So anyway, I opened the windows and I don't know what came in. So maybe nothing, maybe it was just a leaf. But, so I'm going to work on this and I'm going to film it a little bit while I do, and we'll see what happens. All right, well, I've mixed up some paint and I'm going to use a different brush also. And I also ended up putting in, which I don't know what it's going to do, a retarder, an additive from Golden for slowing the drying time, excuse me, of acrylic paints in mediums. So I'm gonna try this. It says, do not use alone or as a painting medium. Thoroughly mix no more than 1 part retarder to 6 part. Okay, I just used a little bit, little drop. So, and I've mixed up some Viridian and black and a little bit of white. And I'm gonna put it down with a different brush. So, I'm only thinking about what's in here. It's just got too heavy. This is an interesting brush. So I'm just going to put some down different places. I might take my color shaper and go through. It actually could even be a little bit bigger than it is. So all right, I think I'll take color shaper. It's pretty gray. I might maybe put a little bit more Viridian in certain places so it's not quite as gray. You know, do I exactly know what I'm doing? No. Do I need to know exactly what I'm doing? No. Okay, here we go. I just felt like it had way too much black, and I needed to lighten it up a little. Now I'm going to put a little bit more Viridian in that. All right. I lightened it up a little bit. Still just thinking about that area. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And maybe I'll squirt a drip here and there. See what that does. All right. All right. I'm only thinking about that area, so that's kind of a relief to only have that area to really think about. Now I think I might put maybe a few marks in here. I can always cover them up if I don't like them. See there. And I think I'm going to pull this off. This tape. I'm still kind of thinking that I need a little bit more of this Viridian. I'm going to put a little bit more in here. Ooh, that kind of. You know, the black is a good idea. One of the things I thought about with the black that I'm going to do next time is I think I'm going to paint a whole canvas black. And I'm going to work from that black base into. See what happens. I mean, I think I'll try it on a little one first, then I'll do a big one. Okay, I'm going to pull that off now. Okay, so it makes those lines. Now I can get rid of those, and I'm going to put this tape off to the side because I may go and do another area somewhere. And I think I'm going to blend this. Sometimes it's nice to have that kind of straight line, but other times not. And I could get rid of some of this, pull that down with my scraper. All right. Then, you know, I'm probably going to end up taking a picture of this and thinking about it. But I thought it really needed, I needed to get rid of some of that. Okay. Okay, I'm pondering now a different kind of a green instead of the Viridian. And maybe with even a bigger brush than what I'm using. That's what I'm thinking about. maybe using some of this green, which is a chromium, putting that over here a little bit. And also getting out some, I think I want to get rid of that purple that's in there. It's too many colors. So I want to simplify this. And I also am thinking about olive, and I have to remember, how did I make the olive before? And I think I made it with a Indian yellow and black, or else with a, you know, I just have to remember that. How did I make that paint? I have a yellow green, so it could be yellow green and some black, but I think I need something now besides the Viridian. So that's what I'm going to do, is go for something else. Okay. Do any of you whistle while you work? I think sometimes I don't whistle, but I certainly make a lot of noise at certain times. You know, I'm going over a lot of stuff here because when I first started this, I really wanted a lot of black. But now the black is bothering me, so I'm going back into it. I kind of like some of the black. I want to leave some of it, but I don't want too much of it. So that's why I just did that. And also I don't want to get so picky with the brush. So I'm also not even thinking too much right now. I just want to make marks. And I wanted a bigger brush to do some simplifying. I want to bring these things together right here. All right. So I'm putting a lot of green down. All right. And maybe I will put in some marks also. Maybe I'll put some marks in with this thing. You know, I don't really, I do care and I don't care, because if I don't like this, I can take it off of the stretcher and I can start again. But I just felt like it needed some simplification of some kind. And I don't want to have marks everywhere, but I do want a few. And that was a big graphite that I was just using. All right. A little bit of matte medium over these marks that I just made. Okay. The jar, this Titan Green Pale. Kind of like this stuff. You know, I'm just painting. We'll see what happens. like that. Real opaque over some of that stuff right there. Okay. Maybe a little bit over here. I seem to be covering things up, don't I? Some of this needs to go too. Sure, that's right, but make some marks, step back, see what happened. Okay, some active marks like that, kind of nice. Okay, so maybe that's what I need, is I need to, you know, the marks with this brush, with this little brush here, are a lot like the direct pastel application marks. All right, because I want to have different marks, different places. I don't want the same thing going on. All right, I'm going to stop with this color. And add. I think these little brushes okay, all right, I really like what's over here, but now I feel like I need some different greens. And maybe okay, I can see a little bit more of this chromium, I think. That's what I want. Okay, yeah, I kind of like that. I like that green quite a bit. I think I want to kind of put some lines in here, I think. Okay, right. Okay, so I can start kind of thinking about this also as kind of a garden, I think. Okay, I think I'll put some of that down here. That could have been a little lighter, maybe. But, okay, I think I'm going to go stop with the green here for a while. And really what I need is a bigger brush. I'm going to go with this big brush that I had out because I think I need a bigger swoop of color than what I'm having there. And maybe right here. I will put some of that. Sometimes it's just kind of going over. I just put some water in this. I'm just kind of veiling it. Oh, that's not bad. Kind of a veil right there. And think I might do the same thing right here. Kind of a veil. Then I'll dry it and go back in. Kind of brings it together a little bit. I think maybe a little white in there. All right, maybe. All right, now I am going to stop and I'm going to take a look at that. Actually, I think eventually I'm going to like this better than what I had before, because when I was up here before, I was painting and I really wasn't into it and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I just kind of did stuff, and well, I'm doing stuff now too, but it kind of in a different way. I wanted to simplify things and kind of get rid of some of that black. So now I'm going to take a photo and kind of decide where else do I want to go with this. I like the blue in there, and I do want to have some flower colors, so I don't mind this right here. I don't mind these marks, and I may want to put some more of those somewhere else. And some of the things I had are still here, but they're in the background. So I'm going to take a photo, and then I'm going to decide what else to do. And maybe I'll even look at some of my other things that I have hanging up in here to kind of get some ideas of mark making that I want to put down. Well, you could see on this, what I was doing was covering a lot of things up because I just felt it had too many little things going on. And so, yes, I have a lot of green here. I kind of like it that the green and the dark is in the middle. And I think what I'm going to do is, you know, I had a certain color here, red oxide. Well, it makes a really wonderful pink. I didn't particularly like how dark the red oxide is, but it does peek through different places. And so I'm going to leave that peeking through, but I may mix up a little bit more of this. And I like this bright over here, so I may emphasize that. And I like, this is a phthalo blue. I want to put some of that up here. And as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I want everything to kind of be a little bit garden related. And so I look at this and I think, well, okay, this doesn't look like a flower. I wasn't trying to. But I thought, you know, a thought that came to me was at the edge of the garden, or you know, like this is the dark area where the green, where the leaves are, and here is some of the sunlight and maybe some of the flower over here, and maybe even over here too. So maybe I'll have the light, more colorful things on the outside and have this darker inside. And I really do like the 3 different kinds of green that I have. This, of course, doesn't even look green, but this is Viridian and black with a little white. Now I may go back in and put some Viridian in here, but not very much. And I like the chromium and then the olive. I like the mix. And down here I have this ink that was bothering me too, so I covered it up. So one of the thoughts that I had was that, and this was not original to me, I either heard it in a workshop or saw it somewhere, but sometimes what you have in the beginning, you may think you're finished, but it may just be the beginning and you need to keep going. And I think that is what I feel about this is I had a beginning and I wasn't thinking about any of it and I didn't particularly like it, but I needed to keep going with it. So sometimes that is what you need to do is maybe what you have down in a pastel or a painting is not where it needs to be finished. So anyway, I'm going to leave this sit for now and I'm going to go back home. But as I'm looking at the other pieces that I have here, and I'm looking at this pastel that I have up here from a workshop and this painting, and I want them to all go together, and basically the going together is going to probably be color related. So, and they are all references of floral shapes and floral colors. So I don't want any of them to look like flowers. My pastels can look like flowers sometimes and sometimes not. But my intention for these is that they be colors of a garden, but that they don't look like a garden, if you know what I mean. So here I think the emphasis with the colors is going to be on the outside. And I want to put some of that blue up here somewhere. I'm much happier with it, so the way that it is.